You ever notice this strange pattern in your life? Some days you're laser-focused, sharp, almost unstoppable, like everything finally lined up for you. And on that day, you think, yes, this is me. This is who I'm supposed to be. Then tomorrow arrives, same goal, same environment, same you, but your mind feels heavy, distant, uninterested. It almost feels like yesterday's version of you was a completely different person. Here's the truth most people don't talk about. You don't have a focus problem. You have a consistency problem. And it's not because you're lazy. It's because your brain is following a pattern you never learned to see. So here's the question that usually wakes people up. If you can be brilliant one day, why can't you repeat it the next? In this video, you'll discover what I call the pattern over peak method. A simple way to stop chasing perfect days and start building repeatable ones. Chapter 1. The day you felt unstoppable. We all have that one day. You wake up feeling clear, grounded, almost calm. You sit down, open your laptop, and suddenly you're in the zone. Answering emails, finishing tasks, planning ahead. You reply to messages on time. You finally touch that project you've been avoiding for weeks. And you whisper to yourself, finally, I'm getting my life together. We trust that day. We celebrate that day. But what most people don't realize is this. That day wasn't created by discipline or identity or long-term structure. It was created by emotion. And emotions don't repeat themselves on command, which creates a painful illusion. We think we've changed, but our brain files it away as a peak, not a pattern. A good day tricks you into believing consistency will come naturally. But consistency doesn't come from moments, it comes from structure. But if that unstoppable version of you is real, why can't it stay? The answer is hidden deep inside how your brain reacts to patterns. Chapter 2. Your brain loves focus, but it rejects repetition. Let me confess something. For years, I believed consistency was a moral problem. Good people were consistent. The rest of us needed to try harder. But science says something totally different. Your brain is wired to respond to novelty, not repetition. Starting something new lights up your reward system. Continuing it, barely a spark. This is why day 1 feels exciting. Day 2 feels normal. Day 3 feels like climbing a hill. Psychologists call this the peaks over patterns problem. The brain loves intensity, but rejects repetition. You're excellent at the peaks, but your brain resists the pattern. Consistency needs sameness. Your brain avoids sameness. Consistency needs quiet repetition. Your brain wants stimulation. Consistency needs identity. Your brain wants novelty. It's not you, it's your wiring. And if you ever face that moment where you learned something important but still didn't act on it the way you hoped, I made a video recently that dives deeper into that exact struggle. Tap the I button if you want to understand that pattern even more clearly. But if the brain fights repetition, how do some people still stay consistent? They're not fighting their biology, they're working with it. Chapter 3. Consistent people aren't strong, they're strategic. Let me tell you a small story. A friend of mine is the most consistent person I've ever met. He works out at the same time every morning. Not most days, every day. Rain, he goes. Low mood, he goes. Busy schedule, he adjusts, but still goes. I once asked him, how do you manage this kind of consistency? Don't you have bad days? He didn't even think about it. He just smiled and said, oh, I don't depend on my mood. This is just who I am. That line stayed with me. Consistent people don't have superpowers. They don't feel motivated every morning. They don't magically wake up with discipline. They simply don't negotiate with the identity they've chosen. Not, do I feel like doing this, but what does someone like me do today? Identity stabilizes the routine. Emotion destabilizes it. But identity alone isn't enough. There's something even stronger that disrupts your consistency. Something inside you that changes every single day. Chapter 4. The real enemy of consistency, your emotional swings. Let's be honest, you don't wake up with the same emotional weather every morning. hopeful, stressed, tired, overwhelmed, and half the time you don't even know why. And when your inner state shifts, your routines collapse. Consistency requires emotional neutrality, not perfection. You don't need to feel amazing. You just need to feel stable enough to begin. But when your brain senses strain, it avoids anything mentally demanding. Stress, routine feels heavy. Anxiety, routine feels pointless. Fatigue, routine feels impossible. Your brain isn't sabotaging you, it's trying to protect you. So if emotions break routines, what can rebuild them? It turns out something surprisingly small. Chapter 5. Tiny Wins. The only tool your brain doesn't resist. Your brain won't consistently follow a huge plan, but it will follow a tiny one. Because tiny doesn't trigger resistance. You don't need a perfect streak, or a big routine, or a 1-hour habit. You need something your brain accepts easily. 2 minutes of reading, 1 paragraph of writing, a 5-minute walk. Tiny wins create trust. Trust creates consistency. Not motivation, not discipline, trust. Once your brain believes, I always start, consistency becomes automatic. This is the second part of the pattern over peak method. You're training your brain to trust the pattern, not chase the high. But there's one more shift, the one that makes consistencies stick permanently.
Chapter 6. What makes consistency stick permanently?
Consistency becomes permanent when it becomes identity, not effort. Not I'm trying to be consistent, but I am someone who shows up. Tiny rituals anchor this identity. A sentence you repeat, a cup of coffee, a deep breath before beginning. These micro signals turn behavior into identity. Identity becomes lifestyle. That's the final layer of the pattern over peak method. You stop proving yourself with perfect days and start becoming the person who quietly shows up even on imperfect ones. Closing reflection. If you've ever wondered why you can focus so well but can't repeat it the next day, remember, your focus is real. Your potential is real. Your talent is real. You're just fighting patterns you never learned to navigate. Consistency isn't built in peaks, it's built in patterns. And when you follow the pattern over peak method, tiny wins, trusted routines, and a calm identity, you stop chasing that one unstoppable day and start building a life where showing up becomes normal. If this video helped you understand yourself deeper, the next one waiting on your screen continues this journey, especially if you've ever learned something important but couldn't act on it the way you hoped. I'll see you there.